Alright guys, so welcome to this live stream. As always, I will take a presentation first. Today's presentation is about maintenance in hair growth. Right, and basically I want to kind of break it down. What things has been helping me to keeping my hair basically in a good state and not losing ground again. Right, this is important because one thing is to regrow hair, but other thing is actually to be able to sustain the regrowth for many years. Right, and basically what I want to do is that I want to kind of break it down in timeline pictures and show you what happened from 2012 up to 2019 regarding my hair situation. Right, and basically for the further kind of timeline, you can check out my videos for 2020 and 2021 because I have been basically making videos 3 times a week during that time. So, all right, let's get started with presentation, and afterwards when I've done presentation, I will also take up your questions that you have written in the chat, and also basically check if there is something else that you have added under the comments in the videos. All right, basically this one here, and this is me, my situation in 2012. And basically at that time, what happened is that I got awesome results from Minoxidil back in 2010. Then I had a serious scalp inflammation in 2011. And 2012 was basically a year when I started to get a control over my inflammation. Right? I started to kind of see patterns, what could help me with my inflammation, what worsened it. And basically, like I have spoken about previously, it's basically was my diet, my scalp environment, my gut health, and basically those things affecting my inflammation. And in 2012, I started to connect the dots and start to understand what was actually happening. And this is basically me in around January 2012. This is my situation, and what happened next is that I started to kind of find out what could be causing more inflammation and what I could do about my situation. And I also started withdrawal from topical steroids, and I also started to reduce the amount of application of ketone shampoos, right? Because up until that point, I was using Nicerol 2% a couple times a week. So, but again, the problem with Nicerol is that it affects scalp environment and makes it worse. You won't keep using it for a long time. So. And basically, this was in the beginning of the summer, 2012. Like I had gained some ground by doing things that I was doing. And what happened next is that this is a picture of me in end of summer 2012. Like it's 3 months difference between those two pictures. And you can see basically that I have been able to gain some ground just by addressing my inflammation and getting better control over it. Of course, it was not nowhere perfect, but I felt that my scalp had less inflammation. It also felt better, and my scalp environment was getting better by itself as well. And by doing those things, and of course addressing the EST angle, I was able to get some thickening of my hair. Right, so it was better than January earlier that year, but of course it was now very perfect, but it was much better. So the situation had got better. So. And this was in December 2012. So basically what happened in December 2012 is that I did travel. And because of travel, what happened is that I got the inflamed scalp because of the sunlight. So basically I went from winter time in Norway to basically tropical environment. And what happened is that I got sunburn and it inflamed my scalp and I started to lose ground again. I started to lose my hair again because sunlight burned my skin, and it basically led to full-blown inflammation again. And I again had to start from the ground again to solve this problem. And you can basically see that in December 2012, things up until this point had improved. Right, you can see basically that my hair was quite good compared to January 2012, like 11 months earlier. But because of that sunburn, things started to go downhill from zero. And this is basically a picture of me in 2013. This is like 1.5 months later. And that time I had solved the sunburn on my skin, and I had got some control over inflammation. Right? And you can see that inflammation did do some damage, and I had some thinning in January 2013. So, and this is a picture almost right before I started with Minoxidil application. Right? And this is again. You can see how thin my hair were, damaged by inflammation. I had to cut my hair shorter, but this is basically a point where I started this Minoxidil application around 1 month later. So. And I think it was end of March 2013. So. And this is my picture of me applying Minoxidil for around 1.5 to 2 months possibly. You can see that it started to look a bit better. Like again, this is not a clear picture, but it started to look a bit better than in the beginning of the year 2013. And what happened next is that around 3.5, 4 months into it, I started to gain some ground. Like say, you can zoom it in a bit more. Like you can see that there is some growth activity, and also the structure of the hair start to get better. Right, you can see the hair looks healthier compared to, for example, this one here, where it was in not so good state. Right? So this was first improvements around 3.5, 4 months later of doing microneedling and minoxidil. And this is basically me in end of 2013, beginning of December. And you can basically see you can basically see that the things are improving. Just zoom a bit more. Right, you can see new regrowth in all this area here. Just to show you guys a bit more. Yeah, all this area here start to grow out, and same as this area here as well. And plus this area here as well, it started ticking up. Right, you can see basically it kind of lowered a bit, and it also started ticking up compared to before. So I didn't just get a regrowth in temples, but also were able to ticken up my hairline area as well. And if you wonder about Crohn, you can check other live streams. I did live stream about Crohn as well, so it's possible. All right, so and you can see clear difference between my state of my hair in March 2013 and also January. In that case, like you can see, the hair just didn't look healthy. Just it was basically damaged by inflammation, and structure of the hair, color of the hair, it was not healthy compared to at this stage here when I basically had been without inflammation my scalp for almost 9 months, and also been applying minoxidil and doing microneedling for around 6.5, 7 months at this stage here. So, all right. So what happened next is that the magic started to happen, and this is me in January 2014. More hair regrowth, and you can see basically when you catch the right cycle of the hair cycles, you can improve hair very fast. This is basically around 2.5 months later, prior to the previous picture I showed from this December of 2013. So this is my situation then. More regrowth on temples, more improvements, right? And this is basically keep improving. And this is this was in mid-January 2014, and this is I would say it is around the beginning of April 2013. And you can see basically I start to recover my hair very nicely. It just got better and better by each month as it went by. So. And this is me back in beginning of the summer 2014. Right? The problem was that I started to work a lot, and it did affect basically my stress levels. It also affected my sleep patterns because I was working quite a lot overtime, and it did affect basically my kind of my lifestyle got in its way, and it did affect my hair quality. And this is basically me in end of summer 2014. Right? You can see there was quality of the hair in April 2013 was better than in around September 2014. And basically what happened next is that I went again on a longer vacation for 6 months. And this is me in December 2014. Let's say November 2014. And you can see that I started to improve again things, right? Because I started being stressed out. I got back to my sleep patterns, having a good diet, and it did help to improve situation even further. And this is me in end of December, beginning of January 2015. So you can see basically in very short time I was able to improve my hair even more. All right, so to move the next timeline, 2015, again, mid-January 2015, more improvements. This is possibly end of February 2015. Again, it's getting better. This is me in beginning of the summer 2015. All right. And this is me in end of summer 2015, around 2 months, 2.5 months later, compared to this picture here. And this is me in December 2015. And at this stage, basically what happened is that I have been applying Minoxidil for quite some time now. I have been doing my cleaning for quite some time, but I didn't clean my scalp. And basically what happened is that Minoxidil, when you apply Minoxidil, it stays on the scalp, not all of it absorbs in the skin, and it starts to make flakes on my scalp. And basically what happened is that those flakes was not removed, and they start to kind of cause microinflammation in my scalp and make new Minoxidil application less effective. So what happened basically is that my scalp started to become a bit itchy, and there was a bit of increased shedding, and I basically kind of had to figure out what was happening, right? Because up until this point, everything was fine. But those flakes were a problem, and that's why, like I've shown in previous videos as well, you have to remove Minoxidil flakes, because if you don't remove the Minoxidil flakes, they will start to build up, and it will make new Minoxidil much less effective, but it also clogs the pores and cause scalp problems, right? So you have to remove the flakes from Minoxidil application. So that's why I personally prefer to do brushing, for example, 1 or 3 times a week, depending on how frequently I use Minoxidil. So. All right, so this is 2016. Again, those flakes, I sold those flakes, and I was able to get back on the track with my hair. And this is around January 2016. All right, again, things were going in the right direction. At this stage, I got some problems with dermatitis in my scalp. I was not careful with treatment, so I basically started to, you can see again, when I start to kind of notice a bit whitish color in my hair, I know that there is some kind of problems there. And this was basically at this stage that I got some dermatitis issues. This is also the stage that I started to kind of actively write my regrowth journey on the forums and share my story. But basically what happened is that the dermatitis issues led to more problems. I started to have a thinning. You can also see that my scalp got a bit more oily. Definitely not a good sign, because my skin is already on the oily side, and more oily skin just fires some microinflammation for me. So I had microinflammation and dermatitis at this stage. Basically what happened is that like this is beginning of summer 2016. This is end of summer 2016, around the end of August or something. And you can see that basically I started to have a thinning issue in my temples again. Like for me, temples is always the weakest spot, like I spoke in previous videos. And I solved the problem. I solved the dermatitis. I solved the microinflammation, and I was able to have a nice recovery. This is me in end of October 2016. Right? You can basically see that in around 2.5–3 months time, when I had solved the problem, I was able to recover my temple again. And this is end of 2016, and December 2016. Right? You can see very nice recovery, and both temples basically filled in. So. All right, so 2017 and 2017. Basically, what happened is that I was doing a lot of overtime. I was having a lot of change in my lifestyle. I was not consistent with supplements. I was not consistent with diet. Basically, all those things affected my hair quality and made my hair start thin out again. So this is me in January 2017. Like you basically can see a nice recovery compared to my situation back in mid 2016. 6 months later, very nice recovery. Just zoom in a bit more. All right. And basically what happened, I got dermatitis in my scalp because I was not careful enough. I was having a lot of stress at that time. And basically it led to shedding issues again. Right? You can see shedding. I got some pimples problems in my scalp as well at that time because I was not careful. Dermatitis was firing up, and it started to thin out again on temples. Right? And this is basically around 2 months later. So this is in January 2016, and this is in around March 17. So sorry. All right, and what happened next is that this is me beginning of summer. Like I started to kind of address a bit better my scalp environment, and I started to kind of get some control over other factors in my life, and I did help a bit to thicken up, but still there was a lot of stress, and you can see basically I had still issues on my temples, and this is basically end of August 2017. So, all right, and I was able to solve those problems in around October 2017, and you can see again I was able to have a nice recovery. And in December 2017, things were okay again. So to move to the next picture again. Again, nice improvements. This is January 2018. All looking good. In March 2018, again, I had issues with my lifestyle, and dermatitis started to cause problems again. So I had some issues there. I was able to solve them, and basically I was able to recover in the beginning of the summer. But because my work situation and basically stress levels, I started to have thinning issue again in the end of 2018 or end of summer 2019. And you can see again my temples started to become quite weak again. But I was able to find a problem and solve it. This is me in November 2018. Before I got problems and I had to take antibiotics for my overall health issues. And I did the antibiotic for a month's time. And basically what happened is that it caused additional shedding. And I had some shedding issues in December 2018. You can see the temple started to be a bit weaker. Luckily, I was able to get off antibiotics after around 4 weeks of taking them, and things started to improve again. This is basically me in January 2019. All right, again, January 2019. And this is March 2009, April 2019. Again, nice improvement, and things are okay. So, and things are going well. Unfortunately, I had a work situation that affected my overall lifestyle, and again, I had some thinning issues in the summer of 2019 because of those things. I was able to get back control over it. This is my situation in October 2019, and this is end of December 2019. So basically, just to break down the timeline. So my point here is basically to show you guys importance of having everything optimized, right? Because if there is a weak spot, it will catch up and cause issues. Let's say, for example, as I have written a bit summary here, what I mean by it. I'll share this one also. All right, so basically things that I want to kind of point out for you guys is that factors that makes my hair a lot better, and it is basically stable sleep patterns, stable good sleep quality, right? Like basically stable sleep patterns means that I go to the sleep same time every day, right? I don't have a kind of fluctuations of my sleep patterns, and also have a good quality sleep, right? Even if let's say if I have just 6 hours of sleep, but if I can get a good quality sleep, then it's all good, right? It still works for me. And for me, it's always has been working to actually go sleep a bit early, like around 11:30 is perfect time for me. And for example, waking up around 6:30, that is 7 hours. It's perfect for me. So, and also keeping my body in the lean state, right? Because if I get overweighted, and I have been over in the past, and I have spoken about it previously. And basically, what happened is that when I was overweighted, things started to get worse to my scalp as well. I got more inflammation in my scalp. I got more itchiness. I got more sebum on oil production in my scalp and skin in general. And those things affected basically my hair quality as well. So for me, basically ideal body weight is around 84 to 90 kilo. This is kind of ideal range for me that I have seen from if I break down the pattern of hair quality over the years. And also for me, daily workouts, and they don't have to be long, but if 30 minutes a day is perfect for me. Also running is perfect for me. It helps basically if I break down again my timeline, I see that when I have been consistent with those things, my hair also has been in good quality. So, and taking care of the lymphatic system is also important. Diet is a processed foods and trigger foods is very important, at least for me, and for you, most of you guys as well, right? If you want to keep your scalp healthy, you have to address this diet part as well. So, on lifestyle, of course, like for example, if I have times when I smoke more frequently, I try not to do it, but if I do have it, then it also affects my shedding rate, it affects my hair quality, right? So lifestyle is important. So, and a good amount of positive stress, right? Because every time I had a lot of stress, that negatively affected my basically my overall well-being. it also affected my hair. It basically made them look weaker, lighter in color, and increase shedding rate. So stress, if you do have stress, then make sure that you do get as much positive stress as possible. And positive stress is basically, let's say, exercise, creative work, like basically doing things that you like to do. At the same time, they may be challenging, but at the same time, because it is the positive stress, that challenge still feels good, and you still feel that you are in the right state of the mind. And it also will help you with the hair problems. So another thing is that I have noticed over the years that as I get older, because now I'm 37, is that each time or any factors that affects me overall negatively, it also affects my hair, right? And it affects my hair much faster than it did before. And so basically, if I get some microinflammation or some dermatitis, or I don't address the DHT angle, it will affect my hair faster than it did before. Right? So basically, as I get older, I get more sensitive to those things. So this is also an important thing to be aware of. So if you want to keep your hair in the perfect state, you have to basically optimize all other angles that can cause any hair loss issues. All right, guys, that was all about presentation. So I will take up and check the chat, which you have been asking me there. A question about why the color of your hair change over time. Because if, for example, there is some weak spots in my treatment or something happens like dermatitis or microinflammation or increased stress levels, they affect my hair quality, right? So basically, all those small things affect my hair quality and it makes lighter in color. Like if I have a hair in healthy state, basically what happens is they are dark, like they are dark brown in color. And that's an ideal situation. And each time I have some issues in my treatments, if I do something wrong or I'm testing something new and this affects my scalp environment, it will also affect my hair quality and color of the hair. And so that's kind of the reason that the hair color can change. Because the thing is that I'm very sensitive to multiple things, right? And if I do something different or wrong and it affects my hair negatively, it will change colors. Question about can I block DHT without using finasteride? Yes, you can. There is topical solutions. There is natural DHT blockers like speaking previous live streams that can help you with blocking DHT. So, like for example, Sapmeto, Bugium, Nettles. Again, those are weak DHT blockers. But if your hair loss is just started recently and your progression is not huge, then those things can work. If you're also not too sensitive to DHT, for example. So, question about I use Minoxidil continuously, but due to work pressure, I skip one day. Sometimes it's a big problem. No, it's fine. Like if you skip a day, let's say, for example, once every other week, it still will be okay. It's not a big issue. So. Can hair loss affect the beard growth? No, it shouldn't do that. Like in only time when I had issues with other areas was it when I was having inflammation problems in my scalp. Basically, what happened is that my overall my hair become weaker. Like I could easily pull out eyebrows, for example, at that time. So inflammatory problems can affect overall hair quality. But if you just map out imbalance, then it shouldn't cause beard problems. Do you advise people to stop smoking and drinking alcohol to stop the hair loss? Yes, it's always best because if there is again something that is a problem and your hair or scalp reacts negative to it, it will affect your hair quality. Right? So if you want to have good results or as good results possible, you have to be sure that there is no factors that can affect your hair base negatively. Right? And smoking and drinking alcohol is one of the factors. All right. Even if your father and grandfather doesn't have hair loss, you still can. Yes, of course, because hair loss is something that can be caused by multiple factors. It has to be a genetic problem. It can be caused also by dermatitis, inflammation. It can be caused by stress factors. It can be caused by nutrition deficiencies, diet triggers, even things like thyroid functions can cause hair loss. And that doesn't have anything to do with genetic ones. Yes, regarding notebook, it seems the recovering is here, darkness here. Yes, definitely. Like when you're recovering here, and if you're doing everything correctly, then the hair quality becomes darker. It's important. The hair becomes darker, and it's always a good sign. If you see the hair is darker, the best means you're doing the right things. All right, I'm using Minoxidil since 5 months, and I still have hair loss. I have my pattern baldness. Like again, if you have been using Minoxidil, apply Minoxidil on your scalp for 5 months, that basically means there is something wrong if you are still shedding here. And yes, one of the causes could be male pattern baldness, but it can also be other things like dermatitis, scalp inflammation, or other issues. So. About a question from Bond about is everything complete about in the workbook? Yes, I have basically have breaking it down in a simple and stable structure. Right. So in the workbook you have all structures that you need basically to grow back here. So. Markin writes, I have a vertex alopecia. I have applied your tips from your book, and I have recovered the right side of vertex, but the left side of my vertex is still hairless. Why is that? Because here regrowth doesn't happen symmetrically. Right? You can still have, for example, one side that is kind of responding faster to treatment, another side is still lagging after. But basically what you have to be aware of is that when one side is recovering, other side also will recover. It just will take longer time. Like even if you watch a recording of this live stream later when I make it public, basically you can see my pictures as well. In the beginning of my hair regrowth, my left side was always growing faster than the right side. So it is quite common thing to recover from one side faster than another one. So, but as long as you see here recovering from one side, you know that things will improve in the other side. You should get better in both sides regarding hair regrowth situations. So, and the other thing, if you like, only things that kind of possibly be a problem if you are having inflammatory areas, that can be problems that can cause that the one side is recovering, other side is not recovering. But it's kind of rare. So, all right. Do you have to continue with dermal link to maintain hair again if you are not to take care of your scalp health? No, it's something that you need to use when you want to grow hair back again. And afterwards, you don't have to do microneedling. It's basically when you have reached your maximum regrow potential or completed the hair cycle, then you can cut it off. So you don't have to do it. So. All right. Okay, I will take the last question for the day. And last question is about using Minoxidil for the last 15 months, but no change at all. What to do? Like again, you have to troubleshoot and find out what could be the cause of it, so you're not seeing results from Minoxidil, right? Because Minoxidil should work for everyone, and if it doesn't work, it basically means there is some factors that's not addressed. It can be your scalp environment. It can be even things like DHT if you haven't been addressing that part, right? Because to get most out of Minoxidil, everything has to be perfect, right? And if there is something that is off, it will basically make Minoxidil ineffective. All right, guys, that was all for today's live stream. And thanks for attending. And we speak